inertia squat. What is it? Why would I use it over a regular back squat?
Most people wouldn't use it, that's the thing. Again, it's another one of those sport-specific things, right? So with the inertia squat, we're gonna set the bar up at right under your xiphoid process, and it's basically a quarter squat from the pins. So it's like a deadlift, a quarter squat hybrid weird thing, right? But if you have someone that needs to create more explosive force from a dead position, it might be a good exercise. So we don't typically use that with like our physique guys or with our gen pop people, but if you had someone who was in a sport where they have to create a lot of force and a lot of speed very quickly, like let's say an NFL lineman would be a good example, right? Somebody that has to go from a dead stop position and then explode out, it's a very good movement for that.
Now you mentioned you'd loaded at your xiphoid, or set the bar up at your xiphoid process. Yeah. Why would you not be higher or lower than that?
Well, I have no idea because that's the way I was taught it. I'd have to think about it. So thanks for asking me that question. I don't know. I mean, I think if you did it much higher than that, then the range of motion wouldn't be sufficient to actually get anything out of it. Because when you're sitting at the bottom of the ribs or at the bottom of the sternum, you have a lot more range of motion to be able to push the bar fast, and it's loading the hips a little bit more. If you did it any higher than that, you wouldn't be able to get into a position where the hips would be loaded appropriately.
And we're obviously able to use heavier loads because we're
much heavier loads, yeah.
Position, right?
Much heavier loads, and there is, we can think about doing like pin squats at lower ranges of motion. If you have people that have a really hard time getting out of the bottom of a squat, we might even do an inertia squat lower than that. I'd never program it, but it's possible. I'd rather use isometric pauses in the bottom.
But you say the difference in terms of pin squat to inertia squat, are they going to be, you use those names interchangeably, are they the same thing? Or are we
yeah, I mean, the thing is, an inertia squat is basically you're going from a dead stop, you're overcoming inertia. There's no kinetic energy built up because as you put the bar on the pins, you're gonna let the stretch shortening cycle dissipate. So let's say if you're coming down for 2 or 3 seconds, you rest on the pins for 2 or 3 seconds, a lot of that kinetic energy is dissipated, so it makes it very difficult. One of the things that we could say is that it does teach your body to turn on high threshold motor units much faster to overcome that bar and that lack of kinetic energy, which you're not gonna get in, say, a regular squat or a myostatic squat.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Inertia squat.